for joining. I really appreciate the support. Locally, we're 866-826-1340. 866-826-1340. So, Ryan, I'm going to give you the stage here.
Yeah, thank you so much. When people find out that I'm a former explosive K-9 handler and once for the war, they assume that my PTSD was from combat. And I did get PTSD from combat, but as I had eventually leaned in and done the work on myself, I began to really come in tune with the essence of who I am from the earliest ages. And so I was actually molested as a little boy, which I never shared. And I was in denial and this and that, and I thought that is how I identified, and now I look at it as it has no power over me, and it was just something that had happened. And so that was very traumatic. I was
so you went into Army, or it was the Army, right?
Yes, it was.
With this trauma that had never been acknowledged, or you've never sought therapy before that point.
In fact, yeah, I actually never told anyone until my 30s. I'm 38 now, so this is actually fairly new that I've been sharing this.
Wow.
So I've kept this to myself.
They say that even trauma going into combat, that when there's previous trauma, that the PTSD post-combat is even more severe because it's compounded and complex.
Right, exactly. And so I had that, and then I grew up with a brother who I really idolized, and I just thought he was so cool. And he is cool, and he has so many great things to offer the world, and he's a very intelligent, charismatic guy. And at the same time, for most of his life, he's been a career criminal. I think he's cleaned up his act now. Well, looking up to my bigger brother, that's how I wanted to be. And so I was always being someone that I was not. And again, it didn't take me until my 30s to really step into the essence of who and what I am and being authentic and genuine with who and how I want to show up in the world. Well, anyway, so I end up eventually getting into drug dealing because that's what I was seeing and that's what I thought was cool. And
your brother was good at it.
Yeah, my brother was really good.
Sometimes people make things look so glamorous when they're good at it, but it's really just not what it's.
And the reality is, if you stay in the game long enough, nearly everyone gets caught.
Right.
And my brother taught me also that you never want to trust anyone in this kind of environment. And I never forgot that. So I always had a weapon on me. It was either a pistol or a knife. And one night I was going to sell my drugs at a concert with a friend, but my scale had broken. And so I was like, well, how am I going to break this up and put it into some gram sacks? Well, my friend said, you can borrow my scale. And I was like, okay, well, that's a great idea. So I meet up with my friend, and as I go to meet up with my friend to weigh my drugs on his scale so I could sell it at a concert. He robs me. And he takes my stash. It was in a backpack, and he shoved it under his shirt. This was back in the 90s, so people were wearing baggy clothes back then. And I had a knife on me, so I pulled the knife out of the side of my ankle in my shoe, and I tried to stab him. Well, my brother never taught me the art of stabbing someone, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So when I try to stab
what is the art of stabbing someone?
Yeah. There's a book coming out next month, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll wait for the book. In fact, I don't know if we should educate the art of drug dealing or stabbing with a knife. We don't need to know exactly how to do that. More like how it would affect us. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Tell me later.
And I'm glad that I didn't know how. Right? I'm glad that I don't know how. But what ended up happening was I ended up stabbing myself.
Wow.
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
How does that happen? I've heard of people accidentally shooting their own foot or something, but stabbing themselves. The art of stabbing. You have to put the blade away from the body, not towards.
Well, I mean, if you really want to know the details, it was the fact that I used a smooth knife, right? The grip was smooth where you would put your hand. Well, if it's smooth, then your hand can slide. That's what happened. My hand slid. It didn't stay onto the hand grip. My hand slid, and so I ended up severing my pinky and needing surgery. And the funny part is my finger is bent in half, stuck. It doesn't move. and it's my right hand. Now, in the Army, you have to salute officers with your right hand. So my finger is half bent, and when I'm trying to salute these officers, they're always like, "Hey, what's up with your salute, soldier?" I mean, it was just this constant reminder. And so that
I'm
was
handicapped, sir.
Yeah.
Stab
That was
myself with my own knife. I'm here to learn how to not do that again. Thank you, sir.
Exactly right. And so because of that, I decided to join the Army and go in as military police. Because I was like, well, I'm not getting discipline at home, and I do want to clean up. I just don't know how do I clean up my act. I didn't know how to do it. So I figured I would join the Army, and I would go in as military police.
Right.
Well, I also asked to be stationed overseas because this so-called friend threatened to blow my head off with a shotgun. And I, like a coward, I ran away.
I don't know. It's not such a coward thing. It's kind of smart. But
Well-
no one wants to get shot in the head with a shotgun. But
Yeah.
So
I can laugh about it now, but
I know
can
we're
tell
kind
you
of
that-
laughing about a serious matter, but we do make light of serious topics on the show. So it's not funny.
Yeah, totally military humor. Now, to be fair, though, I do want to share that before, I've said this part a lot, I've shared this a lot through interviews, but before Tiffany, I would cry. Like, before, I couldn't get through what I'm going to share with you and your audience today without crying multiple times. And it's just because I've been able to share more, and it's been healing in sharing. And so that's how I'm able to kind of laugh about it now, to be real with everyone, right?
Right.
And so I go in as military police and eventually end up working a drug dog. So you have the former drug dealer working a drug dog. Like, what's the irony in that, right?
Well, you know your stuff.
That's right. And so
A drug dealer is probably the best person to catch another drug dealer because you know what to look for.
Exactly right. So when we would do training exercises, the training sergeant would give me a hard time because what I would do is I would put my dog into the room and search. But I would search myself because I knew the good hiding spots. And they would always give me a hard time. They're like, knock it off. Let the dog search. You rely on the dog. It was really funny. Yeah. And
The dog.
one day a task.
Go on. Keep going.
Yeah, one day a tasking came down to for 2 K-9 handlers to go to Iraq. And I had never been, and I had served almost 5 years at that time, and I volunteered to go to the war. By now, I'm working an explosive dog, so that's a step up from working a drug dog because you have to be aware of tripwire and these kinds of things. You have to be technical and tactically proficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so
That's
I volunteered
scary.
to go.
You go hunting down bombs and things like that. That's not a very easy job to do.
Yeah, and you know what? I think now's a great opportunity to speak to our first responders and military because I actually formed PTSD before I even went to the war. And it's because I took my job so serious, Tiffany, that when I went to my very first bomb threat stateside, I told myself I was dead to have the courage to go into the building and search for the bomb because I assumed that there legitimately was a bomb in that building.
Mm-hmm.
And I never let go of that mantra of I am dead. And so even before I went to the war, I was constantly scanning in public, avoiding big mailboxes that, the big ones that the public can use to mail things out. I would avoid trash in the road. I would avoid the sewer manhole cover. All those things are suspicious, and you think that they maybe can blow up.
Right.
So I had developed PTSD as it relates to explosive kind of stuff, even before going to the war. And then when I got there, I remember the first night, I was laying in bed, and you can hear, like, mortars going off, explosions happening, gunfire happening, but you can't always see it. And I remember laying in bed the first night in country, and I was just waiting to die. Like, I was certain it was going to happen. It was, and eventually you get desensitized, and, after a couple of weeks, it's almost no big deal.
I've heard that from a previous guest. We were just talking about that last week with Michael Carasquillo. Like, after a while, you just kind of get used to it. He's post-combat, too.
And so I ended up doing 6 years in the Army, and that was really great. But I ended up getting out, and
Thank you for that.
I took a job. I took a job as a drug dog handler in the Marshall Islands, which is Micronesia. Now, no one's heard of that. That's an island. It's actually called an atoll, not even an island, 3 miles long by half a mile wide.
Huh.
And that was paradise compared to where I was, recently being in the war.
It's kind of what you imagine getting stuck and stranded on a deserted island for it to be like that. Like, that's what what it sounds like. That's what I imagine.
It's like the perfect scene for the Survivor show or something like that, right?
Before we get into the tearful part, Ryan, really quick, we're going to take our first sponsor break and we're going to get into the really heart of your story. And so stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
SWAT Roofing would like to share some crucial information that is misunderstood by 60 to 70% of homeowners. Did you know that a damaged roof by hail or wind, in many incidents, can actually lower your premium instead of raising it when filing an insurance claim? After your new roof goes on, many premium-rated companies will want your policy to be with them and will offer the new incentives to get it. SWAT is a debt-free company with over 18 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We believe in helping you fully understand the interpretation of your policy and the way it can work in your favor. Call today or go online at www.swatcontracting.com or for a free roof inspection, call 214-449-9983. Did you know that your physical health plays a big role in your mental health? Healthy minds and healthy bodies go hand in hand. The problem for many is finding the time and getting the results they want. X-Force Body is perfect for people with busy schedules, with a mission to inspire you to become leaner, stronger, and in the process healthier. X-Force Body coaches will encourage, motivate, and inspire you through every workout, helping you achieve the results you desire. Learn more about X-Force Body at the grand opening of their new location in South Tampa on May 8th from 5 to 7 p.m. For more information, visit www.xforcebody.com.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hi, welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity, and my name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And if you just missed anything or just tuning in, my guest is post-combat. He's expressing that he's been suffering with post-traumatic stress from early childhood. He's a sexual abuse survivor from childhood, and also went into the Army. He served 6 years, and talks about how post-traumatic stress was there before even serving in the country, from going from even wrongdoing to getting into the Army to better his life. And now he trains dogs. He trains combat dogs, support dogs, and K-9s, and has been very successful at that. Celebrity dogs, and he's going to be a TEDx speaker and so forth. And I want to welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Ryan Matthews.
Thank you so much. So where we left off was, I'm in the Marshall Islands, and I'm working a drug dog. Again, it's the former drug dealer working again a drug dog, and so I really know what to be looking for. And I met an incredible woman by the name of Lindsay Davis. And I share this because this is relevant as it relates to PTSD. Lindsay and I parted our ways on the island. I moved back to California, and she moved back to Colorado.